So we were sitting outside of the gear shack, the outfitter, waiting for them to promptly open at 11 o'clock on the weekend.
Well, 10 o'clock, which we didn't realize it was 11 until we got there.
So we got there at 9.
And so we're sitting in this park that's kind of a little bit of a dump. And we're, you know, having a good time. And there's, I think maybe the only 5 hobos of Reykjavik hanging out there with us at 10 o'clock in the morning.
And you decided to pose for them.
Well, no, we were just throwing a ball around. And then the police came.
And we got all our gear.
Yeah.
So we took a bus with a bunch of people.
It was a bus that was really high.
The bus was basically like this. Anyways, all right. So we made it to whatever the name of the first hut was, whatever the name of the trail was.
Brendan, how do you pronounce it?
Landmannalaugar. Laugavegur.
And what's the huts? The first huts?
Landmannalaugar.
Okay.
No.
And so we got there. We unpacked our crap from the bus. We left base camp. And we started our hike. It was an immediate climb, right? I think it was a straight climb.
Through the lava field first.
We had to climb up to the lava field.
Straight through the lava.
And then across the lava field. And then the actual climb started.
Okay. And so we went. It was a pretty vertical climb right away. We had too much clothes on. I remember
too much clothes on. There was a lot of people. There was a lot of day hikers. Because that was a major hut, there were day hikers everywhere that we were going through. But as you got further and further and progressed on and on up through the mountain, the day hikers obviously got fewer.
Right, they faded, and we finally got to some geothermal vents and stuff. So we got our first taste of sulfur.
Yeah, and it was amazing because you went from the parking lot to a lava field to this kind of mountain that was built of gravel, is how I would frame it up as, to lava fields, which are actually very lush. So it was just very, changing landscape very quickly as we went through the first, couple hours of the hike. And then we kind of climbed through these gorges and rivers and valleys for the next probably 2 or 3 hours.
We started hitting snow.
And then we elevated and hit snow and black volcanic rock and sand, and then pure obsidian almost, which is really cool because the sun was peeking through the clouds and you could see the obsidian shine. As you hike through, it was almost like hiking through black glass or something. Yeah.
And I think that's kind of where fatigue started to set in a bit for us. I think we had done enough I think we got surprised by the climbs.
Well, our pace was off too.
Yeah, we went quite hard right out of the gate.
Well, our pace was off, but we also gained 1,400 feet in net elevation for the first day.
Yeah, and we had full packs, so that was a bit brutal to start out with. But we had a few other subtle climbs across the ice sheet, and we finally made it to Camp 1. So.
Camp 1 was kind of very realistic because they had these circles that encompassed where you're supposed to put a tent. So like the winds were obviously crazy up there because you're on a mountain ridge. Essentially in the clouds, which was very eye-opening. And at that point we set up camp. We kind of scoped out. Greg went and met with the warden. And then we made dinner. Actually, before we made dinner, we played ball. With this,
we played ball. We played home run derby.
So we essentially played home run derby with stress ball and a hiking track pole.
Yeah, we're literally in all volcanic sand and rock playing baseball
in the clouds,
whatever you want to call it, in the clouds. So then we made dinner with the camp stove. We had macaroni and cheese.
Kraft macaroni.
Oh, it was
Velveeta.
Shells and cheese. Get it right.
Golden.
It was actually quite nice. It was quite nice. We had a good dinner that day. We did not have tea. Brandon smoked his pipe.
Yes.
And we all went to bed around 7:30. I fell asleep at about 7:45 and slept till about 8 the next morning.
Really, what it should be is you fell asleep at 7.
Let's talk about this.
Me and Greg fell asleep at 2.
I don't even know if I went to sleep honestly for more than a half hour at a time. because you snore so
You saw
incredibly
vlogs
black.
all
I mean, it's
night,
insane.
all morning.
It's insane
Yeah.
how bad you snore.
But that night the weather changed. It became very windy. The cloud cover fell much lower to essentially where we were in the mountains.
But it didn't stop you from snoring
No, it didn't.
continuously over and over.
It didn't.
Over.
But the winds,
Over.
the winds and the clouds.
Over and over and over and
Yeah.
over again.
It didn't seem like that for me. In summary, I got about 13 hours of sleep, and it was great.